The cold water swallowed Alex Chen. His body struggled as he sank deeper into the pool while several figures stood silently above the water. His father's voice was cold. "Since you pushed Ethan into the water, you should retrieve his ring." Alex choked on water. "I didn't push him," but no one believed him. His sister folded her arms, his mother frowned with disappointment, and the woman he had loved for 11 years simply said, "Just go get it. It's your responsibility." At that moment, Alex realized something. He had never belonged to this family, and he had never truly belonged to her either. The water closed over his head, and darkness swallowed everything. Rain poured heavily outside the Chen family mansion as a thin 10-year-old boy stood at the door. This was Alex. The housekeeper spoke gently. "From today onward, you will live here." A stern man walked down the stairs, the head of the Chen family. "Remember," he said coldly, "you are here to replace our missing son. Don't embarrass the Chen family." Alex lowered his head. "Yes, Dad." But from that day on, he learned the truth. No matter how well he studied or how obedient he was only a substitute. Alex's childhood was filled with endless tutoring, piano lessons, math competitions, and language classes. If he scored 99 instead of 100, his father would say, "If Ethan were here, he would do better." If he won a competition, his sister would say, "Don't get arrogant, you're still not Ethan." Every achievement felt meaningless, and every effort felt invisible. One afternoon, Alex sat alone on the school rooftop when a girl approached him. She had bright eyes and a confident smile. Her name was Sarah. "You look like someone who needs a friend," she said. That was the first time someone spoke to him kindly. From that moment on, Sarah became the only warmth in his life. They studied together, ate together, and grew up together. Eventually, their families arranged an engagement. For Alex, it felt like fate. He believed he had finally found someone who chose him. 11 years later, the Chen family mansion was filled with excitement because their missing son had returned, Ethan Chen. The entire family rushed to welcome him. His mother cried, his father laughed proudly, and his sister hugged him tightly. In the middle of the celebration, Alex stood quietly in the corner, and no one noticed him. Ethan glanced at him briefly and then smiled faintly. "So you're the replacement." After Ethan returned, everything changed. The family revolved around him, and even Sarah spent more time with Ethan. One night, Alex asked quietly, "Do you still want to marry me?" Sarah hesitated before answering. "Don't overthink it." But Alex noticed something. She never denied it. The pool water was freezing as Alex struggled to stay afloat. Ethan pretended to cough weakly. "My ring, it fell in." Their father turned to Alex. "Go get it." Alex shook his head. "I can't swim." His sister snapped angrily. "If you hadn't pushed him, the ring wouldn't be lost." Sarah added quietly, "It's important to him." Finally, Alex stepped into the water. Each step felt heavier than the last. As he sank under the surface, a thought crossed his mind. Maybe drowning wouldn't be so bad, because living like this was even worse. Later that night, Alex sat alone in his room when his phone buzzed. A message from the university lab appeared. "Your research results have been successfully verified." He stared at the screen silently. For the first time in years, something belonged entirely to him. But at that moment, the door opened and Sarah walked in. She smiled gently. "Alex, I need a favor." He looked at her. "What is it?" She hesitated before speaking. "Give the research results to Ethan." The room fell silent. Alex felt something inside his chest finally break. 11 years of love had ended with one request. Alex laughed softly, but there was no warmth in it. "This is the woman I loved for 11 years, he said. He looked at Sarah with unfamiliar eyes, "and I never knew her at all." The laboratory lights were still on as Alex stood beside the experiment table, staring at the data on the screen. Years of effort, countless sleepless nights, and burned fingers from chemicals had all led to this moment. His research breakthrough had finally succeeded. Behind him, Sarah stood quietly. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. "Alex, please give this research result to Ethan." The words felt heavier than any insult. Alex slowly turned to look at her. "You're serious?" Sarah nodded. "Ethan needs it for graduate school." Alex looked at the woman in front of him, the girl who once shared an umbrella with him in the rain, the girl who once promised, "No matter what happens, I'll stand by you." He remembered every moment, every smile, every promise. 11 years. And yet tonight, she was asking him to give away everything he worked for. Alex asked quietly, "Do you know how long I spent on this experiment?" She didn't answer. Instead, she said, "You're talented. You can do another one. But Ethan can't." Alex laughed bitterly. "So in your eyes, my effort is replaceable." Sarah frowned slightly. "Don't say it like that." Then she added the sentence that shattered everything. "You owe him." The words echoed in the silent lab. "You lived in the Chen family for 11 years. Without them, where would you be today? So making a small sacrifice for Ethan is not too much to ask for." Alex's expression slowly turned cold. For the first time in his life, he said no. "I won't give it to him." Sarah looked shocked. "Alex, don't be childish. This research could change Ethan's future." Alex replied calmly, "And what about mine?" Sarah had no answer. The next day, Alex was called to the Chen family mansion. Everyone was there: his father, his mother, his sister, and Ethan. His father spoke first. "We heard about your research." Alex nodded. "Yes." Then the old man said coldly, "You should transfer the results to Ethan." It wasn't even a request, just an order. Alex looked around the room at the people he once called family. So this was all planned. His sister scoffed. "Don't act like a victim. You already enjoyed 11 years of the Chen family's wealth. Giving one research result back is nothing." Ethan pretended to look embarrassed. "Brother, if it's difficult, forget it." But the faint smile on his lips said otherwise. Alex suddenly felt very calm. Too calm. He looked at his father. "Let me ask one question. In these 11 years, did you ever treat me as your son?" Silence filled the room. No one answered, because the answer was obvious. Finally, his father said coldly, "You were raised by the Chen family. You should know your place." Alex then turned to Sarah, who avoided his eyes. After a long moment, he spoke softly. "Sarah, do you love Ethan?" She hesitated. That hesitation was enough. Alex smiled faintly. "I understand." He removed the engagement ring from his finger and placed it on the table. "Then our engagement ends today." Everyone was stunned. Sarah looked up quickly. "Alex, don't be impulsive." But Alex had already turned away. That night, Alex sat alone in his apartment. A plane ticket lay on the table. Destination: the United States. He picked up his phone and sent a message to his professor. "I accept the overseas research offer." Outside the window, the city lights flickered. Alex whispered quietly to himself, "From today on, I owe the Chen family nothing." He stood up and walked toward the door without hesitation and without regret. Some people spend their whole lives trying to be accepted. Alex finally understood something. The best revenge was living a life where they no longer mattered.